Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back to the Sunday Recap, my weekly vlog where I talk a bit about my last week in games. As always, we'll start with EVE Online, and it's been a pretty good week in EVE Online. I actually switched things up a little bit by spending a couple of time in Jita looking for some trades and looking at the market. Very interesting. I thought that the Tech 1 rig breakout was decently interesting, especially some of the more popular rigs are definitely going up in price, and so I think the major reason has indeed been discovered by one of the viewers. It is that the alpha clones have been barred from level 4 missions, which means that that's a lot less salvage coming to the market, and thus you have the normal reaction there that you see salvage base materials go up in price, and as a result, of course, the most popular Tech 1 rigs will go up in price the most. So that makes a lot of sense. I think I want to keep that up, but for the last week I really wanted to give it a good go. So I spent one day in Dital, one day in Jita, and I kept switching that back and forth while trying to find good trades. Now, I did find a couple of interesting trades. I succeeded in two of them. The first one is for the Tech 2 capacitor control circuit rig. So there I bought them for like 7 million, sold for 7.8 million, and made some profit within 24 hours. That was pretty nice. The second one seems to be Tech 2 ammo. Things are definitely changing there as well. If I'm not mistaken, there has been an announcement that faction guns will be able to use Tech 2 ammo, and I think that the amount will go up there. It has already led to some very interesting volatility in my opinion, and on one of the missiles I actually managed to do a trade as well. To my surprise, I bought for 72 and I sold for 139, so it purely by accident. I really made a very good trade on that. Pretty limited volumes. I'm not going to spend billions of ISK all of a sudden on a single product, but next to that I'm also looking at certain categories, then trying to find those that are at like 1 year lows and make some small purchases of those as well, just to get ready for more trades. I'm trying to keep up with that in my ticker folder on the market, and overall, yeah, feels pretty interesting, although I don't think that I need to get back to Jita every other day in order to keep this up. I also like being around Dital, doing some exploration, finding a couple of good drops, maybe doing some mining, getting my PI and my BPCs, bring all of that back and doing some sales that way. That's still definitely the bulk of my ISK making at the moment in EVE Online, and I absolutely enjoy it. So I think we're gonna switch to maybe 1 or 2 days in Jita a week, just to try and find some trades and spend most of them around Dital, having some fun with the game. On the development front for EVE Online, there's not a lot of news, but CCP Rise did mention that there's going to be a pretty massive nerf to the ECM drones, so their jam time will be reduced from 20 seconds to 5 seconds, and they will remain on a 20-second cycle. So as a result, you need to be very, very lucky there to get like a consistent jam on a target to really be able to, like, let's say, keep them from targeting you at all. I don't think that that's gonna work anymore with just 5 ECM drones at this point. So very interesting in my opinion. Further nerfs to ECM, which have already been nerfed quite substantially by allowing you to always target the ship or the source of the ECM jam that has been successful on you. So we will see how that works out. Other development news for the longer term, we know that CCP is working hard on the development of the agency. I personally am looking forward to the feature of their public fleets that they're planning to incorporate in there. I do want to see what that's about, and if there's any ways for me to have some fun with that and to open up some fleets so that I can fly with viewers and with other players in the game, perhaps join some of these fleets myself. Overall, it does look pretty damn interesting, and hopefully that will come soon. And then of course we still have the 64-bit client that's on the radar as well. Hopefully CCP is managing that development well, taking out all the kinks and all the problems so that we get a nice 64-bit client when they do eventually decide to drop it. Next up, we have a little bit of Path of Exile. So I have been playing a witch that is based completely on minions, and I basically kept going with that build, trying to get a massive army going. Basically, this is not an end game build, this is not even a very good build, but I just want to see what it's like to have a massive army on the screen, and basically play that as being a general that sits back while your army destroys everything on the screen. It's been a lot of fun so far, and even on some of the bosses it is actually pretty cool. Some of them melt very quickly when they have to deal with 8 zombies, half a dozen skeletons, 3 specters, and all of the little skulls that I summon. And on top of that, if they've got ads around there, on kills I also create those little shades that have the piercing attacks as well. It makes for a pretty massive army, and honestly, early game this works very quickly without you needing to spend a lot of effort finding defensive gear and things like that. But in order to make them very strong, your minions, you do want some uniques that are very specific for them, and as a result I am lacking tank at the moment, and so I came up against the fight for against the Brine King, where you're basically stuck in a very small little circle, and it's lots of lightning AoE that basically killed me for the first time on that playthrough, and it shows the limitations of going for like a crazy full minion max army built right there. It has its problems as well, because you know, there's phases where he's invulnerable, then it just starts doing lots of AoE around you, and if you don't know the exact mechanics and you don't have the HP, well, it's gonna kill you, unfortunately, and that is what happened. So I'm running up against some of the limitations of the build that I've chosen, but it's given me some ideas for Path of Exile as well. So the synthesis leak has not been received too well by the player base, some problems with the mechanics itself, and the way you create gear with it. So I'm not even sure if it's gonna stay in the game, but I myself learned a lot from playing with that Arc Totem character, that Arc Totem hero pound, and getting into maps with him. Basically what I learned is that I'm not gonna be an end game player in Path of Exile. The grind is just too large for me to get into red maps, to try and do Elder and things like that. I don't see myself doing that unless for some very strange reason all of a sudden I find myself super addicted to the game and with nothing else to do. But I usually do have other games that I want to play, like EVE Online, like the World of Warcraft, which I've played a little bit of as well, Total War Warhammer 2, spent some time in that game as well, just not enough to warrant a special segment for this Sunday recap. I did spend a good amount of time in the Path of Exile with my Witch. In fact, I spent enough time there that I said, you know, it's time to get those stashes up so that I can keep going and support GGG a little bit more that way. So I get that unique stash tab where you have one slot for every single unique in the game. Very cool. I did keep all of the uniques that I found, and I managed to basically put 90% of them into a single stash tab. I got a card tab, I got a shard tab as well, and a couple of extra ones, so that I spent 200 currency that I bought supporting GGG. Path of Exile is a great game, but I think that it's gonna be like a recurring experience for me, basically replacing the seasons that I kept playing in Diablo 3. I think that we'll be keeping an eye on the leagues for Path of Exile, and then just see, are there some new cool abilities that I want to try, or there's some interesting characters that I might want to try, but without having that end game goal in mind, which I did, to be honest, with the Arc Totem Hero Pound. I just never managed to keep up with that grind. Once you get to the level 80s, like I was 86 I think, then it really starts to feel like a pretty massive grind in order to maintain your maps, in order to keep getting enough XP to make progress. It's not that easy, and basically it's a bit too much of a time investment for me, but the game is great. It's free to play as well, so I would highly recommend anyone that has never tried Path of Exile to keep an eye on the next league. It's always fun to have that reset feeling, and then just give the game a go. It's definitely what I'm planning to do, get back to Path of Exile for every league, as long as the game stays fun and interesting for me. And that's it for my last week in games, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.